Hello, my dear students, and welcome to today's lesson, which will be Module 9, Writing Problem and Solution Essay, Part 3. So kindly open your student book, page 139, and your workbook, pages 105, 106. Ready? Okay, let's start. Starting with the objectives of today's lesson. By the end of this lesson, you are expected to be able to, first, plan for a problem solution essay by generating ideas about a specific topic. And objective 2, you are going to compile generated ideas to write an effective essay. Our topic today, as we saw last time, will be about animal extinction. So, open your workbook, page 105, and let's have a look at the following pieces of advice. When you plan for your essay, you should think about the following. First of all, our essay will contain 3 parts, one for the introduction, one for the main part, and one for the conclusion. For the main part of our essay, you will have 2 paragraphs, one for the problem and one for the solution. In the introduction, you are going to introduce the topic of discussion using an interesting hook to capture the reader's attention. Also, you should identify the problem. Write a thesis statement stating the scope and purpose of your essay. This is in the introduction. In the main part, which will contain 2 paragraphs, one for the problem, it's called the problem paragraph. You are going to discuss the problem in detail, identifying the causes as well as the consequences or the impact it is having. The solution paragraph, you are going to describe the solution and justify the effectiveness of the solution. In the conclusion, you're going to write a general statement that relates to your thesis statement. Then you summarize the ideas you have put forward. You should bear in mind all these tips of advice. Also remember, when writing a problem solution essay, use a variety of print and digital sources to find information on the topic. Create a mind map like the one we saw together last time to organize information and establish connections. Write an introduction that includes an interesting hook and a thesis statement that clearly states the scope and purpose of your essay. Divide the main part of your essay into 2 paragraphs, the problem paragraph and the solution paragraph. Expand on your ideas by explaining them clearly and supporting them with reasons or examples. Then you write a conclusion that summarizes the points raised. Great. Now in your workbook here, writing a plan, a problem solution essay, you are going to complete the following plan before you write. So before you write, brainstorm the topic of discussion to identify the ideas you wish to develop. We have here in the introduction, you should think about the topic. What is the topic of discussion and what hook will you use to introduce it? Okay, Then what is the problem? And finally, what is the scope and purpose of your essay? Number one, the topic, of course, is mass extinction of animals. The hook, you can rely on scientific facts, study results, or statistics. What is the problem? Extinction of wildlife, one of the most serious environmental problems. What is the scope and purpose of your essay? Examine the problem in detail and suggest solutions to prevent mass extinctions. Great. In the main part, we have two paragraphs, one problem paragraph and one call solution paragraph. What causes or details or background information can you provide to put the problem into context? What are the consequences of this problem? And in the solution, what is the solution? And why do you think this solution will be effective? This is the main part. So starting with the first one, the destruction of animals' natural habitat, overhunting. What are the consequences of the problem? Many species become extinct or face the danger of extinction. In the solution paragraph, what is the solution? Creating, for example, creating nature reserves, introducing stricter hunting regulations. Why do you think this solution will be effective? Stop threatening animal habitat and save these species from extinction. In the conclusion, you are going to restate the claim you made in your thesis statement, but you should avoid repetition. And then you summarize the points covered in your essay. We can say, for example, in the first one, some animal species are extinct or on the verge of extinction, and measures must be taken. When you summarize the points covered in your essay, you can say, for example, here, the destruction of animals' natural habitat and overhunting must be stopped. Excellent. Now starting with the introduction. Now you are going to start writing your essay. This is, for example, a model answer. You can rely on, you can change it, and you can write your own essay. We can say, for example, a report published by the World Wildlife Fund in 2018 claimed that 60% of animal populations have been lost since 1970, making the extinction of wildlife one of the most serious environmental problems. It is important we examine the problem in detail and suggest solutions to prevent mass extinctions. In the main part, in paragraph 1, which is problem paragraph, you can say, for example, although the extinction of animal species is a natural process that has occurred over the course of Earth's history, what we are seeing now is not part of the natural process. The destruction of animals' natural habitat caused by environmental pollution and human activity, as well as overhunting for sport or killing for fur and other body parts, has led many species to become extinct or face the danger of extinction. The loss of one species can lead to the collapse of a whole ecosystem. This affects not only the natural environment, but also human beings who depend on the environment for their survival. Okay, great. Moving to paragraph 2, in which you are going to talk about the solutions, we can say, for example, one way of tackling mass extinctions is to create nature reserves and sanctuaries where natural habitats can be protected and restored. Each habitat is unique and shared by a collection of plants and animals that are necessary to each other's survival. Also, more eco-friendly practices in farming and manufacturing should be adopted so that whole areas will not change to serve new purposes. Most animals cannot survive once their habitat has been changed so dramatically. Introducing stricter hunting regulations is also a very important part of the solution. The full force of the law must be used to punish those caught hunting endangered animals in protected areas. In addition, laws must be passed that prohibit the buying and selling of products from endangered species. Excellent. Moving to the conclusion, we can say, for example, in conclusion, we must create nature reserves and sanctuaries where natural habitats can be protected and restored, and we must protect endangered species by passing laws that forbid their exploitation for commercial use or sport. If we all cooperate, we can still save what is left of the unique animal species that inhabit this world. Excellent, a very good essay. You can follow this model to write your own essay. Great. Okay, let's try to remember what we have just seen by answering this question. How many paragraphs should the body of problem solution essay contain? We said that there are 2 paragraphs. What are they? Yes, one for the causes of the problem and one for the solutions. Great. Okay, that's all for today. Thank you very much for your concentration. Remember that all the lessons of the week are uploaded on Microsoft Teams. Remember to do your own writing and send it to your teacher via Microsoft Teams. Thank you very much. Have a nice time. Have a nice day. See you next time. Goodbye.